So what we want to do with our KML file is get the GPS coordinates of each half grid cell. And so you can see here that these grids kind of represent the Darien Gap between Panama and Colombia that we downloaded. And what we want to do, what I've done is just take that file we downloaded and dropped it directly into this layers section of QGIS. You can delete layers by using that button, and there are loads of YouTube videos or tutorials about how to use QGIS, and a big online community that can help you out with it. Usually you need KML files or shape files to create maps, and I'll show you later a shape file for the outlines of the continents, but you have to Google shape files for this to find what you want to use to build your map. I'm extremely amateur at map building. I'm just messing around with it like it's Microsoft Paint, and I'm 9 years old. So it's a fun thing to mess around with, and it's very nice for our purposes. So what I'm going to do is right click on this layer, say export, save features as, and then go to this little ... so I can give it a directory to save as. Save it in my lovely organized file system as coordinate sheets, as Darien Gap, and then it should show up there, and you'll be able to open it in your folder. So this is how you are presented with it. And now you have to kind of just get rid of all of this crap, because you want to end up with, excuse my language, you want to end up with 3 columns, one for your reference, one for latitude, and one for longitude. So I'm going to get rid of the saying before each of my pieces of data. And then I'm left with just north and west coordinates. I can also give them a reference by calling them grid cells 1 to 64 apparently. I don't know how to fill cells quicker. If you know, please let me know. And then you want to separate the data. This is just basic data formatting in Excel, which you should be able to do. I've separated it, delimited with a comma, next and finish. You shouldn't have any data in the columns following it, otherwise it will cover it up. So now we have north and west coordinates. For our sake, we want longitude before latitude, so we can copy paste that there. Name our coordinates, and north is fine, but west will need to be a negative number because it's left of the prime meridian. You can do this by instead of individually inserting a negative sign in front of each one of them, just make a new column with negative signs or minuses, and then type in this piece of code equals this cell and the next cell that you want, your west cells. If you copy this all the way through the column, you will have a column of all of the formulae, but in order to get it just formatted as values, we need to copy it again and say paste as values only. Then we can delete all of these guys and rename our new column. We also want to remember that this is for the Darien gap. This is our grid cell. And in my XLSX file, I'm going to treat it as a metadata file and leave those two separate. This is my grid, this is my reference. But in my CSV, I want these to be combined. So I've saved it as an XLSX, and now I'm going to save it as and open it as a CSV. My computer, because it's a Mac, often has strange formattings on my CSVs. So I always have to specify in R what my file encoding is. You can see here it's UTF-8. I'll explain that more later. It's just something to take note of when you're coding. It can bring up problems. So save as a CSV, and I'll open as a CSV now. And in order to make those one column, I'll do the same thing as I did now. Equals that cell and that cell. Copy all the way down, and then paste it over as values only. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and then just call this reference. I don't like using capital letters for CSVs that are going to be used for coding. Then just good practice, make sure you don't have anything left or right, up or down. Save and exit.